scared me.
Seems appropriate considering the gig. How are the chainsaws going, by the way?
Good, good. I actually just finished the final edit and I'm exporting right now, actually.
That's great. I know they're eager to get their hands on the show.
Well, in a short amount of time, it'll be right here on this drive. We'll deliver it to the powers that be, and then we will grab a victory drink for another one in the books.
Sounds cool, but probably shouldn't stay out too late. Remember, we have to start the edit on the Amityville glory hole first thing in the morning.
Oh, don't remind me.
Just let me know when it's done, huh?
Yeah, will do.
How are they, by the way? The awards, I mean.
Oh, fun. Some real surprises, though. There's this whole bit at the beginning where it's set in the world of post-production, and it's a little inside baseball.
Well, I can't wait to see.
Yeah, same. What the hell? Max? Max, is that you? Oh, don't mess with me. What was that noise? Oh my God. No, 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 no.
From beyond your wildest nightmares and straight to your screen, horror's biggest night has risen from the grave. This is the 2024 FANGORIA Chainsaw Awards. And now, coming to you almost live from somewhere in Hollyweird, California. He's the celebrated star of Doom, The Suicide Squad, Oppenheimer, and Late Night with the Devil. And she's known for her work as Fangoria's digital editor, as well as appearances in Queer for Fear and In Search of Darkness 3. Please welcome your hosts, David Dastmalchian and Angel Melanson.
And now a disturbing report out of Hollywood this evening. The Fangoria Chainsaw Awards have been stolen. Though details are scant at this time, leading officials suggest that it was not merely the annual ceremony's statuettes that have gone missing, but impossibly, the whole broadcast has been abducted. We go now to reactions from a baffled and scandalized horror community.
How does an award show go missing? People have been waiting months for this.
So, what now? Horror just gets nothing? Right? If we wanted to see horror get left out, we'd be watching other award shows.
What? Someone stole the chainsaws? Well, I was going to make a celebratory cocktail, but now there's nothing to celebrate.
This is not the look. This is not the vibe. Honestly, boo. And not even in the cute, fun ghost way. Ugh.
Look, Miss Mittens, okay? Mr. Lobo can personally understand how they can misplace the awards. We misplace the movies we're supposed to show all the time.
This is a bigger bummer than trick-or-treating at a house that gives out toothpaste.
I was supposed to be hosting the watch party here in New York City, but I'm working with nothing. Now what am I supposed to do?
To whoever stole the Chainsaw Awards, you better give them back, because horror fans will find you. And if they do, you'll be sorry.
David? David, I'm here. This can't be the right place.
Angel, is that you? I'm in the back.
Of course he would be down the dark, spooky hall. Coming!
Angel!
Ah, there you are. Where are we? And why did you invite me to this abandoned TV station in the middle of nowhere?
That's a great question. As you may recall, the Chainsaw Awards were stolen.
I do. In fact, there was a whole montage about it.
Well, after months of chasing leads, I received an anonymous tip that suggested the missing footage was being kept here. And when I arrived, I found a treasure trove of tapes, discs, and beyond featuring all sorts of lost oddities. You know the phrase, found footage? Well, I think this is where people find it.
Oh, kind of like the plot for the original VHS.
For legal reasons, I would not agree. That being said, I have found plenty to prove that what we're looking for is here. And that's why I asked you to join me. The people have waited long enough. The Chainsaw Awards are happening now.
You mean we're going to do the show here? Tonight? That does explain the camera.
Exactly. As we dig through this place and uncover the footage, we're going to share the results as we find them. And don't worry, if anything's missing, I've invited some of horror's best, brightest, ookiest, and spookiest here to help us celebrate this genre that we love.
Fantastic, because it truly has been an exceptional time for horror. Since the last ceremony, we've seen old icons return, new favorites rise, and a blood flood of terrifying, crowd-pleasing scares.
Ooh, we explored the inner life of Dracula's assistant, the humor of being the Pope's exorcist, and the dangers of taking a night swim.
They definitely needed more than a lifeguard. We learned that the settings for unique horror are endless, from high-rise apartment buildings to holiday dinners, even late-night television broadcasts.
I think I saw that one. Classic titles such as The Exorcist, Insidious, Pet Sematary all returned from the grave with new franchise installments, and the likes of Immaculate, The First Omen, Sister Death, and The Nun 2 proved once and for all that sisters are indeed doing it for themselves.
Five Nights at Freddy's verified that the only thing scarier than animatronics at a children's restaurant are haunted animatronics at a children's restaurant.
Yes. And our televisions were besieged by killer dolls, Pretty Little Liars,
drag monsters, and Wild Nights at the Drive-In.
All this to say that while the Chainsaw Awards may be happening a little later than usual this year, it just provides us an opportunity to celebrate even more horror than ever before. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Up first, from the multi-award-winning film The Black Phone, it's Madeleine McGraw.
If a support beam prevents a house from falling down, and a support staff makes sure a business stays running, then I think that gives you a pretty good clue about how important the supporting cast of a film can be. The ensemble of a movie enriches the story and gives greater depth to the world for the audience. They are the characters who help provide context to a situation, or are fated to deal with the repercussions of the plot. In horror, they are the victims of the slasher, or the people who keep the secret of the monster. They are the allies of the final girl, or the assistant to the mad scientist. In short, these are the characters who make a story what it is. The nominees in the following category each crafted incredible performances that gave greater meaning and context to the respective stories that they inhabit, and in the process helped further define the horror classics of tomorrow. The nominees for Best Supporting Performance are Dave Bautista, Knock at the Cabin.
See that my heart is broken.
Why is it broken?
Because of what I have to do today.
Joe Bird, Talk to Me.
I'll let you in.
Nicolas Cage, Renfield.
I am Dracula.
Mia Goth, Infinity Pool.
It's time to find out what kind of a creature you really are.
Kathryn Newton, Abigail. Bridgette Lundy Paine, I Saw the TV Glow.
Are you sure that's all it was?
Dewayne Perkins, The Blackening.
Split up. You're all black.
Whoa! Do not get comfortable.
Dan Stevens, Abigail. Alyssa Sutherland, Evil Dead Rise.
Mommy's with the maggots now.
Alisha Weir, Abigail. I like playing with Mytha. And the Chainsaw Award goes to Alyssa Sutherland, Evil Dead Rise.
This is the most amazing award. Thank you so much, Fangoria. Thank you to the fans. I appreciate how much you guys have embraced our take on Evil Dead and Maggot Mummy. Thank you to the producers at Ghost House and Wild Atlantic. Huge thank you to Lee Cronin, our writer-director. Without him, Ellie would not exist at all. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Tinica, my stunt double. She was a huge part of bringing Ellie to life, and I share this with her. Thank you so much, guys.
While we continue to look around here, we're going to bounce down to the Southern Hemisphere for a little assist. She's the groundbreaking filmmaker of modern faves like So Vamp, T-Blockers, and the recent Carnage for Christmas. It's Alice Maio McKay.
Since this is a horror show, I want to hear something that can be really scary, making a movie. Of course, it can also be extremely exciting. Even filmmakers with dozens of credits to their names will tell you that every new project contains an element of chaos and the unexpected. And regardless of what you think you know, for those setting out to make their first movie, there are some lessons you can't learn until you're in the thick of things. But that's also what makes filmmaking so punk rock. Often everything about the process is stacked against you, but if you have that desire to see your vision through, you find a way to make it happen. In that way, you take something that can feel scary and turn it into something badass. The filmmakers in this category each defeated the odds and announced themselves to the world via bold, brash, and bloody visions, and in the process likely began the journeys of the masters of horror of tomorrow. The nominees for Best First Feature are The Angry Black Girl and a Monster, Birth, Rebirth,
Yes, baby.
It Lives Inside, Skinamarink, Stop Motion. And the Chainsaw Award goes to Skinamarink.
Thank you so much to Fangoria and all the people who voted for this year's Chainsaw Awards. I'd like to thank the cast, Ross, Jamie, Dolly, Lucas, the amazing crew, Jamie, and my assistant director, Joshua Buckhalter, our amazing producing team, Edmund, Ava, Dylan, Bonnie, Lewis, John Kmetch, Neil Flewelling, Gerardo, Anthony, the incredible team at Shudder and IFC Midnight, who went way above and beyond for this movie and really made it a phenomenon. My incredible agent and his incredible assistant, Noah Cliff. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for letting me film it in your house for a whole week. Thank you to my big sister Candace, who was the first person to ever watch horror movies with me. Thank you to everyone who donated to the crowdfund, all the people who made fan art, who made posters, who did video essays, who did fan theories about it, who made memes, who made merch, who tweeted about the movie before it even came out, who got tattoos of the movie on their body, who made songs about the movie, who made parodies of the movie, all the people who took a super micro budget movie I filmed in my parents' house, just with my friends, and worked really hard on, and made it something incredible and so much bigger than me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please welcome the legendary writer of such hits as Megan, Malignant, and The Nun 2. It's Akela Cooper. And from the recent smash hit Longlegs, it's Longlegs.
Cuckoo,
cuckoo.
Love the look, Longlegs.
Thanks. You should see them in heels. Honestly, I'm honored that the writer of Megan recognizes me. You know, I'm much more of a doll maker myself.
You are?
Oh, yes. Dolls play nice with me. Let me in now! Okay, I admit I'm not really long legs. I decided to put this on and feel the fantasy. I'm a showgirl.
I definitely get it.
I love worshiping the dolls. But with that in mind, I have to ask, with your imagination and you giving us stories that include killer dolls, superheroes, and outer space adventures, does the real world ever seem boring in comparison?
You'd think so, but ever so often something comes my way that proves that the old cliche about truth being stranger than fiction is right.
Actually, now that I think about it, some of the drag artists I know, and I can definitely confirm, they're real, but they're definitely weirder than you think.
That sounds interesting.
To say the least.
There's an undeniable appeal to the chaos of reality. It's why we love deep dives into behind the scenes of our favorite movies, or the reason we binge in-depth docuseries about real-life mysteries.
No matter how obsessed we are with make-believe, we're equally obsessed with the world around us, and how often it can seem just as wild.
The nominees in this category, each in their own way, approached our love of horror from a real-world perspective, and in the process reminded us that our fantasies are as intertwined with our lives as our facts.
The nominees for Best Non-Fiction Series or Miniseries are...
Amityville, an origin story.
It's time to set that record straight.
The Blay Brothers Dragula, Season 5.
The Infield Poltergeist.
What you're about to hear is real.
The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
I want a horror franchise that goes on for years and years.
Svengoolie. And the Chainsaw Award goes to...
Let me in now!
The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
Ooh, I love cars. Mommy! Daddy! Woo! The man downstairs! Congrats, Joe.
I want to thank everyone for giving us the award in Achievement in Nonfiction Television. I think we probably stretched the definition of nonfiction, but I want to thank Shudder for sticking with us all these years. I want to thank the cast and crew for always sticking with me. I want to thank the Mutant family especially for supporting us all this time. And it's especially meaningful because it comes from Fangoria, which is the Bible of horror.
From such hits as The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and the Chucky television series, please welcome the magnificent Lachlan Watson.
For some horror fans, it's not enough to simply have what's presented on screen. They want to know everything. From behind-the-scenes tidbits to the true stories that inspired our favorite frights and beyond, there is an obsession with having a peek behind the curtain. Luckily, the genre world has given us plenty of filmmakers who share this interest in taking a deeper dive into the movies that we love. Over the years, audiences have been treated to incredible, in-depth looks at classic films, legendary monsters, and the underground movements that spawned cultural change, all while giving us greater perspective, understanding, and nuance towards the ever-evolving face of horror. The nominees in this category each represent a devotion to exploration, revealing that there's so much more to the things that we watch than what appears on the surface. And though the subjects differ wildly from Italian masters to sharks to erotic thrillers and more, they each are a testament to horror fandom's persistent desire for more. The nominees for Best Documentary are Dario Argento, Panico.
Everything in Argento's movies is trying to kill you.
The Legacy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
If you've ever driven through Texas, you'll see like a house out in the distance and you're like, what's going on there?
Satan Wants You.
And all of this was started by this book.
Sharksploitation.
The shark is a natural monster in the ocean.
We Kill for Love.
That aim of exciting the audience in a particular way is absolutely at the heart of films that have sex in them.
And the Chainsaw Award goes to The Legacy of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wow, Fangoria. Oof. It's beautiful. I can't thank you enough. Just to be nominated was an honor, truly. But as a long-time Fango reader myself, to win, this is blowing my tiny mind. I'd just like to thank everyone who helped make this documentary possible, to the filmmakers and the film writers, everyone who were able to speak about Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a far more eloquent and succinct way than I ever could. Thank you, guys. And yes, nothing left to say other than this is for Toby, Gunnar, and Marilyn. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Who are you? And what are you doing with those tapes?
It's you, Jacques Hughes.
No, know what you're thinking, but you've got it all wrong.
I caught you red-handed.
No, I'm not stealing these tapes, okay? I'm rescuing them.
Huh?
Listen, I'm Special Agent Mount, first name Perry, and I was sent by Paramount Scares. Fangoria wasn't the only one to have material stolen.
Hang on. Your name is Perry Mount, and you work for Paramount?
Yeah, well, you know what they say, when life hands you coincidences, you make lemonade.
What?
Look, the point is, we discovered that someone had boosted a good chunk of the Paramount Scares archive, likely to ensure that they were the only spooky game in town.
That's insane.
Well, I suspect that whoever made off with our movies is the same perp that took the chainsaws.
Sure, but what I'm talking about is who steals an entire film catalog?
Well, I mean, with titles like these, they probably did it for the prestige, or the bragging rights.
Fair.
I mean, what's a horror landscape without Friday the 13th? Paranormal Activity, Scream.
There are some pretty heavy hitters in here. Pet Sematary, Cujo?
Oh, those poor cats and dogs. Desperate to be reunited with their families.
That's one way to put it. Is this the ring?
No, be careful with that. This one has some nasty side effects.
A quiet... Rosemary's Baby? I thought he'd have been an adult by now.
Yeah, he is. And now he's running for office. Look, the point is that horror fans deserve access to their favorite movies. So that's why it's crucial that I collect these as soon as possible.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'd love to stay here and help you with the awards, but I really got to get these back ASAP. However, I have been deputized by the powers that be.
The Children of the Corn?
Close. They wanted me to give you this. This is the next category. Proudly backed by Paramount Scares, because we've got a scare for every screen. And now the Chainsaw Award-winning artist behind many legendary monsters, including the Predator, and the Predator from 2022's Prey himself, Alec Gillis and Dane DeLegro.
Wow. I can't believe it. Look at us, huh? Together again. It's like, what do we do, 100 Days in Calgary? Prey, what a movie. Have you heard anything about a sequel?
I think we're on the clock here.
Oh. No, seriously, you are Alec Gillis, legendary creature effects guy, Pumpkinhead, Starship Troopers, Tremors. You worked on almost all the Alien films, even some of the good ones. Romulus, and don't forget about the Oscar nomination.
It's true, I am an Oscar-losing creature effects artist.
And here we are, 3 years later after you didn't want to hire me for Prey.
And despite my complete and total lack of support, you did a bang-up job. You are the Predator, sir.
Portraying a creature like the Predator comes with a degree of responsibility, especially considering that a horror story is only as good as its monster.
Since the advent of motion pictures, we creature effects artists have sought new and innovative ways to bring all types of beasts, creatures, and otherworldly entities to life. Often to achieve the fantastic, a great deal of practical work goes into its creation.
Your voice, you got these pipes. It's incredible. Like, you should host like a podcast or
an award show. You realize they're not going to ask us back next year.
Listen, we are losing the crowd. It is dead air out there. It's the blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes that makes the blood, sweat, and tears on screen all the more believable.
The nominees in this category each displayed extraordinary artistry in bringing something magnificent and monstrous to life.
The nominees for Best Creature Effects are
Evil Dead Rise, Adam Johansson and Damian Martin, Odd Studio.
Five Nights at Freddy's, Jim Henson's Creature Shop.
Infested, Thierry Onion and Leo Ewald.
The Last Voyage of the Demeter, Joran Lundström.
Megan, Adrian Moreau, and Kathy Say, Moreau Effects Studios. And the Chainsaw Award goes to, why don't you read this?
Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks, Dad, Monster Dad. Adam Johansson, Damian Martin, Odd Studio, Evil Dead Rise. Wow.
Awesome, congratulations, guys.
Awesome.
I'm Adam Johansson from Odd Studio in Sydney, Australia, and I'm super stoked and so honoured to receive Chainsaw Award, FANGORIA Chainsaw Award for Best Creature Effects in a film for Evil Dead Rise. Our Marauder was voted as Best Creature Effects. My business partner Damian Martin can't be here, unfortunately, but we just wanted to say that we are huge fans, Damian and I, of FANGORIA. In fact, everyone here at Odd Studio has been a huge FANGORIA fan for our entire, what feels like, lives. And I just want to thank you guys for the award, and I'd also like to thank Lee Cronin, Rob Taggart, and Sam Raimi for making this happen for us, giving us the opportunity to create a really unique practical creature suit. Thank you, everyone.
Get ready, because what's about to happen next is no trick. You know him as the creator and star of the highly acclaimed television series The Carbonaro Effect. Please welcome Michael Carbonaro.
Now, although I've spoken about it quite openly in the past, it still occasionally surprises some people to learn that my earliest interest in the art of illusion came from horror movies. Growing up, I was obsessed with people like Tom Savini, who would use a mixture of practical savvy and blood sleight of hand to make nightmares come to life. Makeup effects artists are undeniably magicians in their own right, incorporating intricate craftsmanship and, yes, the occasional misdirect to elicit a shock or a smile and bring a fantasy to life. Whether it be via brush or latex or some secret known only to them, the individuals in this category each crafted a unique brand of magic, making flesh out of fiction and adding a little flair to our fears. The nominees for Best Makeup Effects are Abigail, Liz Byrne, Paul Byrne, and Matthew Smith. Evil Dead Rise, Luke Pulte. In a Violent Nature, Stephen Kostansky. Talk to Me, Beck Barato, Paul Caddy, and Nick Nicolau. When Evil Lurks, Marcos Berti. And the Chainsaw Award goes to Luke Pulte, Evil Dead Rise.
Wow. Thank you. Evil Dead Rise was a dream job for me. Thank you to the fans for voting for us. Thank you, FANGORIA. Awesome award. Very, very cool. Thank you to my amazing crew who did an amazing job working on an awesome film. Really appreciate the award, and yeah, just humbled that everyone chose us. So thank you so much.
Featuring a special sponsorship from the fabulous Vixen by Micheline Pitt, this next award unequivocally proves that fashion can slay. Helping us present the category is one of the breakout stars of the Boulet Brothers' Dragula Season 5. Please welcome Rob Zombie.
You know the saying, clothing makes the monster, or something like that anyway. But if you think about it, it's a little true, right? Imagine Freddy slinking onto your screen wearing nothing but a dainty little two-piece instead of his regular fedora. Or Jason busting into your cabin but wearing the sluttiest little maid outfit you've ever seen. Sure, still scary, but there's definitely something off. In this case, it would be my underwear. With that in mind, I think it's safe to say that when crafting a horror icon, the outfit must be fierce. When a nightmare hits the screen, serving a look, you can tell pretty quickly if they're there for fashion, function, or fright. The nominees in this category have placed a unique stamp on horror by making artistry out of outfits and delivering on styles that are suitable both for the runway as well as running for your life. The nominees for Best Costume Design are
Francesca Bernori, Immaculate,
Paco Delgado, The First Omen, Steph Hook, Late Night with the Devil, Megan McLaughlin, Lisa Frankenstein, Holly Waddington, Poor Things.
And the winner is... Holly Waddington, Poor Things.
Hello out there, Fangoria fans, and thank you once again for tuning in to the Chainsaw Awards. My name is BJ Colangelo. I am a writer, filmmaker, podcaster, and very noticeably not Holly Waddington, tonight's winner for Best Costuming. Holly was unable to join us tonight, but she did send along a note, and as a massive fan of both Poor Things and the incredible costuming, I am honored to share it with you. Thank you so much, Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, for this awesome recognition. It is a huge thrill and a wonderful surprise to receive this masterpiece of a sculpture, which will sit very proudly on my mantelpiece. Yorgos Lanthimos gave me the chance to follow a rich and creative journey to bring to life through costume the character of Bella Baxter. She was such an inspiring character to design costumes for, because she was so unfiltered by the constraints of society and codes of behavior. Ultimately, in the costuming, it was my job to reflect her growing liberation. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful evening. And thank you, Holly, again for sending this along, and we can't wait to see what that Chainsaw Award's gonna look like next to your Oscar.
What's all this?
A crucial part of our investigation should be focused on finding out who stole the awards. So between segments, I've been putting together some theories.
How very true crime, Doc. What have you got so far?
My initial inclination was to assume that my old nemesis, Dr. Fearless, was behind everything. But this sort of scheme doesn't really feel like his style.
What makes you say that?
It worked.
Ah.
Then there's the matter of Abigail's dad. He's been very active lately.
I don't see what Mr. Breslin has to do with any of this.
What about Godzilla? Dormant for years, only to pop up in 2 different movies on 2 different continents within mere months of one another. Definitely suspicious.
I think we'd know if it was Godzilla. He doesn't tend to leave things as he found them.
Good point. I had considered Lisa Frankenstein, but the pieces don't fit.
How about the hand from Talk to Me?
Ooh, only if it teamed up with long legs, because otherwise how would it get away?
Honestly, this is all just making me feel more puzzled.
Oh, puzzled. What's Jigsaw been up to?
I don't think we're solving this anytime soon, so while we're studying the details of the case, I'm gonna send you over to someone who knows a thing or two about deep dive research. Please welcome author and longtime Fangoria contributor, Mike Gingold.
In considering Fangoria's contributions to pop culture, the images that come to mind are often gory, outrageous, and wild. Many creators and longtime fans tell stories about having to sneak peeks at the magazine because someone in authority didn't approve. And yet, despite its sordid reputation among its naysayers, I also like to think that Fangoria has provided a lot of education and insight into the genre over the years. And I believe its readers are among the most informed horror fans out there as well. Starting not long after I joined the Fango team, we gave them the opportunity to honor their favorite films and filmmakers via the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. Every year since 1992, with a couple of interruptions, the awards have reflected the enthusiasm of those who believe that horror is a genre worth respecting and celebrating. I had the honor of producing a series of Chainsaw Awards ceremonies at our Los Angeles conventions in the 90s, and now in the digital age, we can host the presentation online for a much larger group of viewers. Here to explain that process are Dr. Rebecca McKendry and Elric Kane.
As co-hosts of the Colors of the Dark podcast, Elric and I regularly dig into the latest, greatest titles that are making horror fans buzz with excitement.
What some people may not realize, however, is that when Rebecca and I aren't recording, we both work in various capacities as teachers of the filmmakers and film enthusiasts of tomorrow.
And in that joint spirit of fandom and imparting knowledge, we wanted to take a moment to briefly explain, for those who may not know, how the awards you're watching tonight happen. To the marker board!
It's important to note that from the very start, extreme consideration is given to the fans. At the beginning of the process, a list of potential and relevant films is pulled together from the window of eligibility. In this case, all of 2023 and the first 6 months of 2024, and sent out to a nominating body of industry professionals, filmmakers, and critics. This is how the films for the nomination phase are selected.
Once narrowed down, the nominated movies are organized onto a ballot into their corresponding categories and released to the voting public via Fangoria.com. From here, horror fans take full control. It's your vote that selects the winners. The ballot remains open for several weeks, ensuring that everyone with a valid email address has the opportunity to step up for their fright faves.
And rest assured, incoming votes are monitored to guarantee authenticity. Any votes that come from suspicious or duplicate emails are not counted, as to make sure the most authentic results are presented.
From there, the results are safeguarded until the moment the envelope is opened and the chainsaw is given to the winner.
The winner that you choose.
Exactly.
It's important for us to take the time to acknowledge this aspect of the chainsaws, because unlike so many other award shows where voting happens behind closed doors, Fangoria is dedicated to making sure that you're heard.
Whether it's major releases or hidden gems that are making us buzz with that excitement I mentioned, we want to celebrate it all, and we want to celebrate it your way, because horror belongs to everyone.
So now that you've had your lesson for the day, your homework is to find out who wins next.
He's the legendary director of Habit, The Last Winter, Wendigo, Depraved, and the recent Blackout. Please welcome true master of horror, Larry Fessenden.
As a longtime filmmaker who co-wrote an immersive horror video game based on the premise of a horror movie that has since been announced as being adapted into a movie, I certainly have some insight into the crossover between mediums. We've come a long way since the days of Pac-Man wandering around in the dark, eating ghosts, though that's not a bad creature feature pitch. And the world of video games is as nuanced and rich as it's ever been. The construction of entire universes with multiple outcomes allows the audience to not only connect with stories, it invites them to become part of them. And for horror fans especially, the modern gaming landscape has provided an embarrassment of riches. In addition to numerous new original titles, old favorites like Friday the 13th, Evil Dead, Killer Clowns from Outer Space have all made the digital leap. Now more than ever, the lines of cinematic storytelling are being blurred, and thanks to video games, fright enthusiasts get to engage with classic icons and new terrors in exciting, fresh ways. To that end, I am proud to say that the nominees for the inaugural Fangoria Chainsaw Award for Best Video Game are Alan Wake 2, Dead Space Remake, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
This time, it has to be different.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the Chainsaw Award goes to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Congrats to all involved, and thank you.
This is Wes Keltner, CEO and founder of Gun Interactive.
I'm Ronnie Hobbs, I'm the creative director.
And we're both here to humbly accept the award for Best Video Game from FANGORIA Chainsaw Awards. It's really exciting because this is the first time they've ever given this award to a video game. So huge shout out to the fans that nominated us. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Really appreciate you doing that, having our backs and enjoying the game.
Yeah, also huge thanks to Kim Hinkle and everyone at Xero Films for trusting us with their IP. Also, huge thanks to everyone here at Gun Interactive for working tirelessly on this game. And to the fans, once again, thank you for playing, thank you for voting. We appreciate it, and this is an incredible honor.
Very cool. See you in Texas.
The co-writer and one of the stars of the breakaway hit The Blackening, please welcome Dewayne Perkins.
It goes without saying that in such an intensely visual medium as film, the director of photography plays a crucial part in bringing a movie to life. More than just the person who figures out where to point the camera, these remarkable artists use their lens to pull us into the story and give us a perspective on entire worlds beyond our own. Serving as the eyes of the audience, they can make the extraordinary seem commonplace and make the usual appear larger than life. The nominees in the following category each crafted a visual landscape that brought nightmares to life and defined the look of our newest horror phase in the process. And it is my pleasure to share that in addition to taking home a statuette this evening, as part of this award, Red Camera is gifting the winner a Reducation course, which can be taken either virtually or in Los Angeles, and a 10-day loan of a Red Camera of that person's choice. Shout out to Red Camera. With that exciting news in mind, the nominees for Best Cinematography are Pierce Dirks, In a Violent Nature, Kareem Hussein, Infinity Pool, Aaron Norton, The First Omen, Robbie Ryan, Poor Things, Eric K.U., I Saw the TV Glow. And the Chainsaw Award goes to Robbie Ryan, Poor Things.
Thank you, Fangoria, for this amazing award. I've never seen a trophy quite like it, and I'm very proud of it. I think Dr. Godwin Baxter would be appreciative of the chainsaw sort of through the skull surgery style. I'd like to dedicate this film to the director, Yorgos Lanthimos, because in a way, he's the real cinematographer of this film. I'm just hanging on in there, trying to figure out what he's going to come up with every day, which is possibly the most fun you can have on a film set. So thank you, Yorgos. And thank you, Fangoria. Much appreciated. Bring it on!
Joining us now is an individual who likes his music like he likes his movies, covered in blood. The lead vocalist and songwriter of Ice Nine Kills, please welcome Spencer Charnas.
Whether it be rock, metal, punk, or meat dress wearing pop stars, music artists have long leaned on horror themes and imagery in an effort to make a point, create a fantasy, or straight up sonically melt your face off. That's because horror, like the best music, heightens reality and uses bold artistry to take us to places we've never been. In turn, it makes sense that great horror movies make music a crucial part of their DNA. A well-placed sting, a pulsing bass, all of this can make us jump with fear or cheer with bloodthirsty delight. From the iconic synthesizers of John Carpenter to the sweeping orchestral arrangements of Harry Manfredini and Marco Beltrami, the music of our favorite horror movies sticks with us, sometimes even long after the credits and heads have rolled. The nominees in this category have each crafted unique compositions that enrich the world of their respective films, and in the process, provided the soundtrack to our newest nightmares. The nominees for Best Score are Evil Dead Rise, Stephen McKeon, The First Omen, Mark Corbin, Godzilla -1, Naoki Sato, I Saw the TV Glow, Alex G, Infinity Pool, Tim Hecker. And the chainsaw goes to Naoki Sato, Godzilla -1.
皆さんこんにちは。ゴジラ-1の音楽を手掛けました佐藤直樹と申します。今回はこのような素晴らしい賞をいただき、非常に感激しております。尊敬する伊福部明先生の力を借りながら、これまでで一番怖いゴジラ、一番リアルなゴジラを目指し、音楽を作りました。また、チェーンソーアワードに呼んでもらえるよう、日本から音楽を発信してまいります。今回はありがとうございました。
Joining us now from the set of their new music video, Child of Christ. She's a drag icon and the filmmaker behind All About Evil. And he's the star of such favorites as Kaboom and Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. Please welcome Peaches Christ and Thomas Dekker.
As a former host of the Chainsaws, I'd like to think that I know a little something about star quality and award-winning talent.
Oh, that's why you keep working with me, right?
Right, yeah, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that you told me you'd introduce me to a Terminator.
I told you, Terminators aren't real.
Oh, sure. Well, if that's true, then who wrote Madam Web?
Oh boy.
Anyway, the point is that in horror, every so often a new subgenre emerges whose impact is so powerful. Well, the Chainsaws just have to stand up and take notice.
And in these moments where the zeitgeist changes forever, a new award category simply must be implemented to reflect and honor the ever-changing face of fright.
So here to present a first ever award in an all-new category is an artist uniquely qualified to do so.
She's the legendary star of Sleepaway Camp, Victor Crowley, Terrifier 2, and so many others. Please welcome Felissa Rose.
In the years since that fateful summer at Camp Arawak, my love affair with horror has only grown. The community has embraced me in so many ways that continue to humble and enrich my life. I feel gratitude that I not only get to keep making movies, but that so many people continue to watch them. I love that I get to act so often, and I love that I get to work as a producer and help others make their dreams come true. And sure, maybe sometimes I get a little excited and I take on too much at once, but it's because I would not want to be doing anything else. Still, the amount of commitments I make hasn't escaped the attention of others. And in a recent Fangoria article all about, oh, this is funny, how I have over, 40 current projects in production, the amazing editor-in-chief made a comment about how there should probably be a Chainsaw Award for the best Felissa Rose movie. Now, maybe he meant it as a gag, but in the spirit of making ambitious decisions, I say, let's do it! I'm here tonight to present the inaugural award in a category I know intimately about, because it represents a cross-section of some of the bloodiest, wildest, and most fabulous fun that I've had of late. You know how they say that it's an honor to be nominated? Well, baby, it's exquisite to be the whole category. What, the whole what? The whole category? Oh my. So without further ado, it's my distinct and very personal pleasure to say the nominees for Best Felissa Rose Movie are Macabre Mountain. No, we have to stick together! Late Checkout. It's when they stabbed me and they just left me to die. The Omicron Killer.
You can go fucking sharpen your goddamn motherfucking blade and you can shove it up your fucking redneck ass!
Oh, snap.
New Fear's Eve. What are you, some kind of pervert? Craving. Probably those fucking Sanders kids with their M80s. Those goddamn brats. And Go Away. I have waited for 2 years to shove my shoe so far up your ass that my hair picks the food out of your teeth.
Aunt Mary!
And the Chainsaw Award goes to Craving! Yay! I'm so excited. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. This is absolutely amazing. I just want to say thank you so much to our incredible director, Jason Horton, and Gregory Blair, who wrote a remarkable script. I love you, Gregory. Kevin Caliber and Ashley Undercuffler, you are amazing. You've been dear friends for so long. And Robert Bravo for your amazing effects. This is absolutely incredible. I am blown away and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Yay, Craving!
She's an iconic genre fave, known for Victor Crowley, Tales of Halloween, Star Trek Picard, and so much more. Please welcome Tiffany Shepis.
Hey! Oh my God, I'm so excited. Hi. Over the course of my career, I've had the opportunity to work on a lot of movies, but I've also done a fair bit of television too, from my time on shows like Robot Chicken, Edge TV, Ease Wild on the Riviera, and most recently, Star Trek Picard. I've learned plenty of valuable lessons about what it takes to succeed, or fail, in the episodic space. For example, in TV, the check usually clears. You hear that, B-movies? It clears. And if you die, yeah, you're probably not gonna come back for the next week. Oh, and if you see a space doctor, the deductible is going to be out of this world. That last one reminds me, another important thing you learn on TV is taking a cringe-worthy line, like that one, and delivering it with a smile. Right. But seriously, whether it's the mean streets of Tromaville or the final frontier, the real takeaway is that I know what it means to be on a series that not only builds worlds, but sometimes takes us beyond them. Our favorite television shows give us the opportunity to spend time in a story, obsess over a character's journey, or leave us hanging in anticipation over what's gonna happen next. The nominees in this category had horror fans rabidly returning for each episode, and that reminded us all that sometimes the best nightmares are the ones that give us more, and more. The nominees for Best Series are Chucky.
God bless America.
The Fall of the House of Usher.
May it rest in peace.
Interview with a Vampire.
I want to tell the real story.
The Last of Us. Yellow Jackets.
Darkness. We brought it back with us.
And the Chainsaw Award goes to... Guys, this is pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, hell yeah, The Last of Us. Congratulations.
Fangoria, thank you so much for this very cool looking award. On behalf of everyone on the show, Craig, everyone from HBO, everyone from PlayStation, thank you for this. And I especially want to call out Alex Wang and his VFX team and Barry Gower and his prosthetics team that helped really translate all the horror and the beautiful gore from the game to the show. And on behalf of everyone at Naughty Dog here, thank you very much for this. It means a lot to us. Cheers.
And now, to present an award that speaks to the very heart of what our esteemed publication is all about, I'm pleased to introduce Fangoria's Editor-in-Chief, Phil Nobile Jr.
Even in an award show stacked with categories full of our faves, it's important to remember that the art we love often has many aspects that defy categorization. Horror as a genre remains beloved thanks in part to its ability to buck the norm, push the envelope, and blaze new trails. One of the great joys of my position as editor of Fangoria magazine is getting a first-hand look at the individuals who are bringing bold new vision to the space and innovating the horror landscape of tomorrow. It is in that vein that I'm happy to once again present the Editorial Eye on the Future Award. Selected by the Fangoria editorial team, this award recognizes emerging talent in the horror space whose work broke undeniable ground or made significant impact in the genre that we love. As the co-writer and scene-stealing co-star of The Blackening, this artist brought an entirely new voice to the horror conversation, and his work on that film helped prove that a horror comedy can be hilarious while still delivering the goods when it comes to thrills, chills, and kills, and vomit. The Blackening is not only the latest chapter in the storied history of black horror, it's a wry meta-commentary on the journey of the subgenre, and this individual's contribution takes the film from straightforward spoof to something bigger, something better, and something worth celebrating here today. Though his talents have already taken him beyond our particular corner of the entertainment industry, it is Fangoria's hope that he'll soon be once again blessing our genre with his gifts. Until then, we're proud to award this year's first Editorial Eye on the Future to Dewayne Perkins.
Thank you. Wow. This is actually the first award I've ever gotten, my first piece of hardware. Cannot wait to put this on a mantle. First of all, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Fangoria. This is such an honor. I've been obsessed with horror since I was a kid. So to have something that I've created be a part of a genre that has inspired me my whole life is something that I will forever be grateful for. I want to give a quick thank you to my collaborators, Tracy Oliver, my co-writer, the director Tim Story, the team at MRC, the team at Lionsgate, the cast and crew. Without them, this could not have happened. And I just want to say that, like, you never know what can happen from just creating. The Blackening started as a sketch on stage, then became a short for Comedy Central, shout out to them, and then eventually became a movie. And when I created it, I didn't know the life that it could have, and it has shocked me and continues to shock me every day. So thank you so much. And I also hope to continue to stay in this space. So keep giving me money to make things, industry. Thank you so much.
The second editor's eyeball gazes not upon a film creative, but rather a musical group whose macabre, spooky aesthetic is in service of something much more than skin deep. Singer-songwriter Dusty Gannon is a combat veteran, former EMT, and paramedic who has taken his personal experiences, as well as social issues that should matter to all of us, and set it all to an irresistible goth pop beat that provides, in Dusty's words, dance music for the end times. Dusty and his TikTok alter ego Goth Dad is like a modern-day Woody Guthrie in fishnets and black eyeliner, speaking truth to power and advocating for change. And through his passion and his music, he's made huge fans of us at Fango. Because we haven't taken their songs off shuffle since we first heard them, because we can't think of the last time we heard an honest-to-God protest song, and because I say so, it's my pleasure to present our second Editorial Eye in the Future Award to Vision Video.
Well, hi there. Hey, it's Dusty from Vision Video, and I'm very honored today to be accepting the 2024 FANGORIA Chainsaw Award, the Editor's Eyeball Award, on behalf of Vision Video. We're here in Philly about to play a show, and it's kind of a very surreal experience to have been featured in the magazine and now be receiving an award. I've been a horror nut since I was very young. And I bought Fangoria when I was a kid against my parents' well wishes. So this is it's like I said, it's a huge honor. I think that horror helps us process a lot of actual horror in the world. And I've been through some interesting parts in that regard in my life. So yeah, it's just a really cool moment to know that our music and my love of horror has intersected in a way that's meaningful enough to be considered for this. So thank you very, very much. Really excited. We have a new record coming out called Modern Horror in October, and it's full of horrific imagery. So please check it out, and take care of yourselves and stay strange.
David?
What's up? Did you find another tape?
Not exactly. Why does that monitor say we have an incoming satellite call?
Good question. I didn't even know satellite calls were still a thing outside of 70s spy movies. I think if I hit this button, we can connect.
David Dastmalchian, it's about time you answered. I've been trying to get your attention for hours.
To gloat, no doubt? While I couldn't be certain that you were behind this, you making your presence known has all but confirmed my suspicions. Why the long distance? Didn't want to face us in person?
No, you have it all wrong, my dear David. I did not steal your precious Chainsaw Awards, though I must admit that it is an admirably dastardly move. Yes, it's true. I have interfered in previous year's ceremonies, but that was mostly just to get under your sensitive skin. There's just something about you having a good time that bothers me. Perhaps it's because we both know that it was I who should have won that cruise on the Demeter.
That wasn't a cruise.
Regardless, I would never interfere with the awards themselves. I need them to exist so that I may one day win one for myself.
In what category would you even be eligible?
I should be crowned Super Monster, of course.
I think you're thinking of Dragula.
Look, if you didn't have anything to do with stealing the awards, why are you calling?
To help, of course. When I heard about your plight to restore the missing broadcast, I simply had to share this clip I found floating around on the dark web, which is where I get all my skincare products, naturally. The video in question features a remarkable duo. One is the beloved filmmaker of 12-Hour Shift and Torn Hearts. The other is the award-winning author of The Living Blood and the recent The Reformatory. It's Brea Grant and Tananarive too.
You know, Brea, I'm absolutely thrilled to be back at the Chainsaw Awards.
Yeah, me too. I almost don't even know what to say.
Luckily, someone gave us a script.
Oh, right.
You know, I think anyone involved in making movies can agree there's a certain exhilaration that comes with reading a script for the first time and knowing in your heart that you simply have to be a part of bringing it to life.
The job of a screenwriter is not only to create and communicate the story, but lay the foundation for everything that comes after. Before actors, sets, or special effects, they craft an entire world with words.
And from those words, an army of creatives are mobilized to bring their skills together and make a reality out of a fantasy.
The nominees in this category each started with a blank page, and from there crafted tales that were scary, funny, groundbreaking, and beyond, and gave us some of the newest favorites in the process.
The nominees for Best Screenplay are
The First Omen, Arkasha Stevenson, Tim Smith, and Keith Thomas. Story by Ben Jacoby.
Infinity Pool, Brandon Cronenberg.
Looks just like him.
Late Night with the Devil, Colin and Cameron Cairns.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for a live television first.
Megan, Akela Cooper, story by Akela Cooper and James Wan.
Megan, what are you doing?
Couldn't sleep. Occupational hazard.
Talk to Me, Danny Philippou and Bill Hinsman.
He hates it when you touch him.
And the Chainsaw Award goes to Colin and Cameron Cairns, Late Night with the Devil.
Hey, Cam, look what just magically appeared on your desk.
Oh my God, a Chainsaw Award.
How cool.
That's fantastic. Thank you, guys. No, well, thank you, Fangoria. Thank you to all the readers for voting for us, having been a long time reader of the magazine. I can't tell you what this means to me. It's such an honor and a thrill, so thank you.
Thank you, guys, and a special shout out to our amazing cast and our crew, our producers, investors, but a very special thank you to our good friend Joel Anderson. He made a little film called Lake Mungo a few years ago. He's a great writer. He was also instrumental in developing this script with us. So yeah, we also owe a debt of thanks to Joel. Thanks, Fango. And Hail Abraxas.
To present our next award, she's the prolific filmmaker of Bingo Hell, Into the Dark's Culture Shock, and segments of VHS 85 and Satanic Hispanics. Please welcome Gigi Saul Guerrero.
Hola amigos, it's me, tu amiga, Gigi Saul Guerrero. Stop moving, stop moving. And we gotta talk about something. Now, in many ways, cinema transcends through language. A filmmaker has to convey through images and emotions. A ver, hold on. Espérame tantito. It's really, really hot. Luchadora, come here. Agua. Gracias. ¿Y me das un poquito de aire? Un poquito más cerca aquí en el cuello. Eso, gracias. Take two. Cut it. Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Are we rolling? Okay, take two. Now, in the horror genre, it is the main genre that stop moving, that everybody in the world can have a common link through myths, through legends. Luchador, I can't see the lines. Hang up. No puedo ver las líneas. Haz un zoom. No, even more, por favor. Okay, cut it. You know what? You're fucking fired. A ver, vámonos, ya. No, pero si no puedo ver, lo necesito más cerquita. I need to see the lines, right? No, not close to me, close to that. You know what? We're just gonna skip to the good parts. Gracias. Yeah, gracias. We're just gonna skip to the best part. So what I'm gonna give you guys is Best International Movie. And the nominees are... No, espérate! No mames! Cut it, just cut it. La cagaron, eh? I'm trying to learn a script, and you guys don't do your job. What do you want, luchador? What do you want? I can see the nominees. Thank you. I can read them. I don't understand. We're back in business, ladies and gentlemen. We're back in business. Perfect. Okay, let's get to the good parts. And the nominees for Best International Movies are The Coffee Table, Exuma. Infested. Huesera, the bone woman. When evil lurks.
Virgen Santísima, Don Luis. Ay, Dios mío, ¿qué va a ser?
And the winner is... A little noise, a little noise. Cuando acecha la maldad.
What?
That's when evil lurks. When evil lurks. Congratulations, Demian! Get out of here, all of you. Go home. Let's go home.
Okay, my dear friends, thank you so much for voting my movie When Evil Lurks and make me so happy to win this prize. This is the second time that I win as foreign movie in this beautiful prize. I'm a big fan of Fangoria, as you can see, and I'm very grateful for all the people of Fangoria and all the readers of Fangoria who voted. Well, thank you. I can say that because my English is not so good, so thank you.
From Blumhouse's The Passenger and Netflix's Doggone, please welcome Johnny Birchtold.
When we suggest that something has been taken to the limit, what we usually mean is that it's gone pretty much as far as it can go. But with movies, we know that's not always true. Though some films may have a more limited release in comparison to others, their impact on the hearts and minds of fans can be just as large. Now, in the case of horror cinema, this is typically doubly true. The fervor surrounding certain titles can often propel them into timeless infamy, regardless of whether they played every multiplex or not. Now, in many ways, these are the movies that are the bedrock of the cult experience because, they found their audience due to the power of the content and creativity. The films in this category transcended confines and connected directly with viewers, inspiring passionate response and welcoming nightmares. The nominees for Best Limited Release are Cobweb.
This is an old house. There's bound to be bumps in the night.
Annie's Men. I Saw the TV Glow.
All they found was her TV set burning in the backyard.
The Outwaters. Suitable Flesh.
He can still get me. He's dead.
And the Chainsaw Award goes to... I Saw the TV Glow.
Hi there, this is Amber T, staff writer at Fangoria. Unfortunately, the I Saw the TV Glow team weren't able to join us this evening, but we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the impact of this incredible film. Echoes of nostalgia and the power of viewership are themes that are very familiar to us here at Fangoria, and we know that they're very important to you too, as horror fans especially. We'd like to accept this award on behalf of I Saw the TV Glow and send the team our sincerest congratulations.
He's an award-winning filmmaker whose credits include Juan of the Dead, Nightmare Cinema, Satanic Hispanics, and The Inheritance. And she's the beloved star of Terrifier, Return to Nukem High, and Do Not Watch. Please welcome Alejandro Brugues and Kathryn Corcoran.
There was a time, not all that long ago in the grand scheme of things, where the only way you could see a movie was to go to the theater.
Then, with the advent of television, not only was it suddenly possible to watch movies at home, but there were those who started making movies specifically for that medium.
From home video to DVD to Blu-ray and beyond, filmmakers have constantly adapted to a world of changing platforms. But their end goal has always remained the same: make a movie and get it in front of an eager audience.
In many ways, the digital landscape allows artists a wider reach than they've ever had before. With a simple click, viewers can watch a movie anytime, anywhere.
And they do. In an era where there are horror-specific platforms and every major streamer has their own genre section, it's a really great time to be a Fright fan.
It is. The films in the following category each presented bold new visions and upheld the cinematic tradition of transcending the medium and capturing the imagination.
Simply put, these movies came right into our homes and straight into our nightmares, and we couldn't be happier. The nominees for Best Streaming Premiere are
No One Will Save You,
Sick,
Just one moment. Unlock the door!
Totally Killer,
Oh my god! What? I forgot to bring vodka.
VHS 85,
It's okay, just administer the adrenaline.
Where the Devil Roams. And the Chainsaw Award goes to
VHS 85.
Amigos, it's your team, VHS 85 in the house. Amigos, we are just blessed and so thankful for such a bloody, deliciously good-looking award. Here is the team of VHS 85 to say a little thank you.
All right, thanks, guys. My name's David Bruckner, and I directed Total Copy.
My name is Natasha Kermani. I directed Techno God.
Hey, Mike P. Nelson, and I directed No Wake Ambrosia.
Scott Derrickson, director of Dreamkill.
Amigos, and I am Gigi Saul Guerrero, director of God of Death, and we are just so thankful that you guys enjoyed our heart-pounding journey into the grim underbelly of the forgotten 80s through these amazing 5 segments. Thank you so much, Fangoria, the fans. We are just so happy right now, and I think our parents are going to be very proud of this one. Woo!
I don't think that's it.
Whoa. Julia Marquesi and Terry Gamble from Horror Movie Survival Guide? Wait, what are you guys doing here? Are you looking for lost footage too?
Kind of. I mean, we heard that you were digging up the Chainsaw Awards, so we hightailed it over because we're on a mission of our own.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, as you know, every week on our show, we pore over different horror movies, trying to glean tips on how to survive in case we find ourselves in a similar situation.
Educational and engaged viewing. I dig it.
Exactly. And Terry and I were talking about all the different arenas of horror that we've reviewed, and we've covered everything, like slashers and classic monsters and giant creatures and tiny terrors.
Yeah, absolutely. But we found ourselves with scant information about one particular medium. Simply put, we want to know how to survive an award show.
After everything I've seen tonight, I think that's a very logical request. Do you have any tips based on what you found?
I mean, you always have to dress to impress. Yeah. A final girl has a hard enough time making it through the night. She doesn't want to end up on the worst dress list, too.
Impractical, but fair.
Yeah, also it's important for presenters to take the time to actually read what's on the card before saying anything. Because if you say the wrong thing, you can end up summoning up something like the Candyman, Beetlejuice, or even the internet. They're more merciless than any monster ever could be.
Can attest.
And if you lose, then you just accept it with grace and plan your revenge in the sequel.
Honestly, I think this is all really great advice.
Yeah, we try our best around here. Still, there's one more thing we'd like to learn. The best way to hone our survival skills, though, we think, is to study and to think like a killer.
Wait, do award shows have killers?
This one does, for a few years in a row, in fact.
Yeah, exactly, which is why there is one particular category that Julie and I were hoping to find more about. We've got a laserdisc right over here. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yes, okay, this one.
Who's Emmanuel?
Oh, nope, not that one. That is for me. Excuse me, one moment, please. Okay. I think it's actually this one. Yay! On this laserdisc, we are going to get some killer answers.
And luckily, it features the legendary creators and hosts behind Dead Meat, James A. Janice and Chelsea Rebecca to help us out.
Ooh, let's watch.
Yeah, I love them. Yay!
Admittedly, lifelong horror fans are usually not easily fazed. After years of the strangest, wildest, and bloodiest that cinema has to offer, they often feel like they've seen it all.
And who can blame them? In a landscape that includes Jason's infamous sleeping bag kill, the Fear Street bread slicer, and a very concerning car ride in Hereditary,
There's a lot of tough acts to follow.
But ultimately, that's part of the fun, finding those icky, sticky, boundary-pushing moments that make us want to cheer, even as we cover our eyes, and remind us why we love this genre in the first place.
On our channel's show, The Kill Count, we take an in-depth look at the murderous moments that make up the DNA of our favorite horror movies, and the practical and special effects artistry it takes to bring them to life.
For entrenched gore hounds, the appreciation of these sequences comes as much from marveling over how a scene was done as it does the actual on-screen execution. Pun intended.
If ongoing horror discourse has proven anything, it's that fans obsess over their favorite blood-soaked moments and the artists who make them happen.
Which is why, in an award show driven by fan votes, this particular category is extra significant, because this is the one where Fangoria readers were asked to write in with their thoughts on the moment that most got their blood pumping.
And the blood flowing. With that in mind, we're proud to say that the Chainsaw Award for Best Kill goes to...
The yoga scene hook kill in a violent nature. Well deserved.
Hey, all you dreamers out there. Johnny and I want to thank you so much for awarding us with the best kill of the year. We both worked really super hard on it, and we're so glad that you liked it. Also, I'm all better now. Namaste.
Joining us now is someone who is taking the legacy of horror's final girl to bold new places. She's the celebrated star of Terrifier 2 and the upcoming Terrifier 3. Please welcome Lauren Lavera.
The lead of a horror movie can come in many forms. Whether they be the Terrifier or the Terrified, they're the character we feel compelled to follow through the most harrowing of circumstances and the darkest of nights. From beleaguered babysitters to chainsaw-wielding cashiers, negligent camp counselors to slashers with the heart of gold, our icons come in all shapes, sizes, and states of decay. The nominees in this category, each in their way, brought a uniqueness to their performance and something special to their scares that allowed them all to put their stamp on this genre that we love. And, in the process, likely create yet another future legend of fright. The nominees for Best Lead Performance are Tobin Bell, Saw X.
You promised dying people. Dying people!
David Dastmalchian, Late Night with the Devil.
What you're about to see is profoundly disturbing and shocking.
Caitlin Deaver, No One Will Save You. Nell Tiger Free, The First Omen.
It's not real. Who said that?
Kathryn Newton, Lisa Frankenstein.
Well, thanks, I guess.
Lupita Nyong'o, A Quiet Place, Day One. Emma Stone, Poor Things.
You were in my son.
What?
Lily Sullivan, Evil Dead Rise.
What are you looking at?
Sydney Sweeney, Immaculate. Sophie Wilde, Talk to Me. And the Chainsaw Award goes to... David Dastmalchian, Late Night with the Devil.
Wow. Look at this. This is perfect. Thank you guys. As a lifelong Fangorian, I can't really even properly express how much this moment means to me. This is more beautiful to hold than I ever thought it would be. I'm so grateful. Thank you for selecting me out of the insanely dense pool of talent that was in this category. I'm so honored, and I'm so grateful to Colin and Cameron Cairns for writing and directing this beautiful film. Every single member of this crew that brought together the 1970s horror aesthetic in such an incredible way. The cast that surrounded me and pushed me every day and lifted me up every day and supported me. Steven Schneider, Roy Lee, and the rest of our producing team who believed in this project from its inception, and of course my family for going to Melbourne, Australia with me to make this film, and every one of you who's gone out and seen it or supported it and watched it. To IFC and Shudder, thank you so much. And to Fangoria, I am forever in your debt. The monster kid I am is very much to blame on you guys. So thank you. I will cherish this always.
He's the groundbreaking filmmaker behind 2013's Evil Dead, Don't Breathe, and Alien Romulus. Please welcome Fede Alvarez.
Directors, we get all the blame when it doesn't work, but we also get all the credit when it does. So here are the nominees for Best Director. Brandon Cronenberg, Infinity Pool. Lee Cronin, Evil Dead Rise. Danny and Michael Filippo, Talk to Me.
I'm here.
Demian Rugna, or Evil Lurks. And Arkasha Stevenson, The First Omen. And the Chainsaw Award goes to Lee Cronin, Evil Dead Rise.
This is Lee Cronin, the director of Evil Dead Rise, coming to you from Dublin. I'm sorry I can't be there this evening, but I am celebrating in spirit and so truly honoured to receive this wonderfully grotesque award. Growing up in Ireland, it wasn't easy to get my hands on a copy of Fangoria, so to receive this wonderful award in honour of my movie Evil Dead Rise really does mean the world to me. You can only make a movie if you have an incredible team, and I had a really special and incredible team on this film. So I do want to thank all the amazing crew and the cast, and obviously Rob, Sam and Bruce for giving me the keys to the Delta and letting me drive it how I saw fit. Most importantly, I really also would like to thank the people that voted for me and voted for Evil Dead Rise. Your support means the world, and for horror fans to really back me as a filmmaker gives me the confidence to keep going forward and making more terrifying stuff for you all to enjoy. So thank you again. Thank you to Fangoria. This really is an honor. Thank you.
To present our last award, we're joined by someone who is unquestionably genre royalty. The celebrated star of Scream, The Craft, Riverdale, and so much more. Please welcome Skeet Ulrich.
Every year, hundreds, if not thousands, of movies are released around the world. To that end, the stories that tend to stay with us are the ones that reach out and make a connection. As a genre, horror has always been an exceptional means to cut through the noise. Monstrous villains in perilous situations can serve as dark analogies for real-world fears. And the conquering of a fantastic nightmare on screen can sometimes provide the catharsis we don't always get in real life. More than big budgets or fancy rollouts, major horror releases often still feel personal, because in many ways they are. The films in this category each created frights that reached across the globe, but still connected with the hearts and minds of individual viewers. From Bloody Ballerinas, Baby Devils, and beyond, these are the movies that defined the moment for viewers and assured their place in horror history in the process. The nominees for Best Wide Release are Abigail.
Cut the shit.
Evil Dead Rise.
You don't look so good, Mom.
The First Omen.
It's all over you.
Godzilla -1.
あれはゴジラ。
Infinity Pool.
Even the smallest imperfection is unacceptable to the language of the law.
Late Night with the Devil.
It's okay, folks. It's just old park hands acting up.
Megan.
Have I done something to upset you, Jenna?
Satanic Hispanics.
We are all going to be dead.
Talk to Me.
What if we opened the door but we didn't shut it?
And When Evil Lurks. Chainsaw Award goes to Godzilla -1.
ゴジラ-1の企画プロデュースを担当しました櫛田和明と申します。ゴジラ-1チームを代表して、感謝の気持ちをお伝えしたいと思っております。今回はとても大変光栄な賞をいただいて、大変感謝しております。 昨年から何度もアメリカの方には足を運ばせていただいておりまして、現地の方々の熱量を肌で感じておりました。我々も世界中でたくさんの賞をいただいておりまして、今正直、いくつの賞をいただいたのかが全く把握できていない状態であります。ただこんなに嬉しいことはないと思っています。今回、ゴジラマイナスワンでは怖くて近くて、我々の前に強大な敵として現れるゴジラを目指して制作をしてまいりました。ですので、今回のショーが非常に我々にとっても嬉しいと言いますか、東宝を代表するキャラクターであり俳優であるゴジラがこんな賞をいただいたことはとても嬉しく思っております。またぜひどこかで皆さんにお会いできることを楽しみにしております。ありがとうございました。
Well, Angel, despite the odds and a TV special-sized mystery, we've somehow reached the end of our show.
What a ride. I can't believe we pulled it off, all things considered.
Honestly, there's very little that a bit of can-do spirit and an array of amazing guest stars can't achieve. Still, I think we learned some valuable lessons here tonight.
Like the importance of backing up your files if you're making a show?
Well, yes.
Or that you probably shouldn't center a whole party around a severed, embalmed hand?
Actually, that would be a Martha Stewart no-no. But what I meant...
I know. We learned that if you're going to teach a killer doll Britney Spears choreography, the internet will definitely start calling her mother.
Yes, all of that's true. But the most important takeaway from tonight is much bigger than all of those things combined.
Oh yeah? And what's that?
It's that while award shows may occasionally be late, the right time to celebrate horror is always.
Oh, I love that.
Me too.
It's a shame, though, that we never did figure out who stole the awards in the first place.
True, but as is the case with this genre that we love, I think it's totally fine to end things with a little bit of intrigue.
I suppose I can live with that.
And even if you couldn't, isn't that what the chainsaws are all about? So, from all of us to all of you, thanks for watching. And in the immortal words of George A. Romero, stay scared.
Well, that worked out perfectly, if I do say so myself. What? So I stole the show. What else is new?